This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
It's Tuesday, March the 17th, 2015, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Good morning. We begin with yet another bombshell twist to the unfolding CLICO affair and its embattled former chairman Leroy Parris. While the latest judicial manager's report listed one Anne Leacock as Leroy Parris's daughter, his lawyers yesterday dismissed the claim as mere rumor, as they seek to set the record straight on Parris's relationship with Leacock and another Lebanon Arbor St. John resident, which the report listed as Leroy Parris's father-in-law, pointing out that the Register of Birth at the Barbados Registration Department had no such record of Mrs. Leacock's paternity. Parris's attorneys said the description of her as Parris's daughter was particularly mischievous. They also sought to make it clear that Dennis Leacock was not Leroy Parris's father-in-law, while pointing out that their client, as recorded in the registry of the Supreme Court of Barbados, is married to Mrs. Faye Wharton Parris, whose father is Valence Wharton. However, when a Barbados Today team visited Leacock's home yesterday evening, the 52-year-old woman said as far as she was concerned, she was Leroy Parris's daughter. Her mother also confirmed that her daughter Anne was Parris's firstborn, even though there may be no evidence of paternity. Read all the details in our e-paper. A grieving son is this morning demanding answers about the tragic death of his father, with tears streaming down his face and 2 bullet wounds in his back. Junior Knight is questioning why his 57-year-old dad, Selwyn, was shot dead allegedly by a policeman at Dash Gap Bank Hall, St. Michael, around 6:50 a.m. on Sunday. The tragedy occurred as the 27-year-old man and his father were chasing a thief who had broken into their Queen Mary Road Bank Hall home and stole a tablet computer. Knight said he had to leave his father lying unconscious on the ground and run from the firearm, which was still going off. During an interview with Barbados Today yesterday afternoon, Knight, who was injured in the incident, said he was robbed of a man he looked up to and a friend he had planned to watch football with later that evening.
But then when my father got out the vehicle now, my father was about to come for him, but he do it first. When he recognized my father now, is when he take a step back and make the draw a knife for me, yes. And that's when they hold on for the knife, make that fan, and hold the shirt in my right hand. So they end up getting the knife for the hand, because you hand and get your knife for the hand and they chill the knife for one side. And then they trip you out and peeping ground. I tell my father, come and take the tablet from my pocket, they be left here. And my father was going for the tablet now. I just see a gunshots ringing, and then they see my father stumbling, going toward the part of the vehicle. So when they let go the father now, to concentrate on my father now, is when they end up getting shot in my back, when he was dealing with my father. So as the shot hit me, I fell to the ground. And when I turned, my father just hit my foot. And he holding and he shaking and all the fear and he was unable to respond. So then I ended up getting up now and running from where he was through the 2nd Avenue, down the bottom of the gap, and had to go back through the center that he followed through to bring me right back home.
After more than 2 decades doing business at the corner of Probin Street and Bay Street in Bridgetown, the Barbados Light Power Company is closing its customer service office on Friday, March 27th. There will be no job losses, as employees will be reassigned to the garrison headquarters and other offices. The company said its decision to cease business at this Bridgetown location after 27 years formed part of a wider plan to streamline operations and provide better service opportunities for its customers. To this end, the BL&P will be offering a range of services in Bridgetown through enhanced facilities at the SurePay outlets located at Cave Shepherd, Broad Street, and Massey Technologies, White Park Road, with extended service hours at the Cave Shepherd outlet. Workers at the Customs and Excise Department are being advised not to sign letters of offer with the Barbados Revenue Authority unless outstanding matters are addressed. It comes from their bargaining agent, the National Union of Public Workers. Acting General Secretary of the union, Roslyn Smith, says issues pertaining to appointments of customs officers and other items of conditions must be finalized before any decisions are made. Smith said the union will be meeting with Finance Minister Chris Sinclair and other stakeholders to address the transition of the Customs and Excise Department to the BRA. She reveals that a meeting will also be held on March 31st with the Personnel Administration Division in order to get an update on the backlog of appointments. The Cricket World Cup, now into the knockout stage, will begin the quarterfinal at 11:30 tonight Barbados time, with South Africa and Sri Lanka facing off. England prominent commentator Jonathan Agnew predicts who will lift the trophy in the Melbourne on March the 29th.
I still fancy Australia. I've seen them play a couple of matches in this tournament. They go very deep. They've got the best bowling attack, I would say, with New Zealand running them second. I mean, it still looks possible that it could be an Australia-New Zealand final, which would be great, but I certainly wouldn't rule out Sri Lanka. I certainly wouldn't rule out India. I wouldn't rule out anybody, I don't think. But I'll say outsiders would be West Indies and Pakistan, but hey, we're still a long way to go. Yeah.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Welcome back with news from the region that 3 deaths of employees attached to the VC Bird International Airport in Antigua and its environs have prompted a warning from the Ministry of Health. As Aisha Caleb reports, the department is asking not only for individuals but households in general to exercise caution, particularly as it relates to mosquitoes.
It has been rumored for a few weeks that there is seemingly some anomaly in and around the airport affecting the health of a number of employees. But the dissemination of a release from the Ministry of Health disclosing that it is investigating the recent deaths of 3 persons who worked at the airport and its environs is seemingly adding some credence to this. The ministry, via the said release, intimates that these deaths could be as a result of a mosquito-borne viral infection. According to the communiqué, investigations include confirmatory dengue tests from the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARPA in Trinidad, a close look at the work environment, and consultations with senior physicians. 1 sample has returned negative for dengue, while the results for the 2 others are pending at CARPA, the release states.
On the international scene, Vanuatu is in immediate need after Cyclone Pam tore through the country at the weekend. President Baldwin Lonsdale said the storm had wiped out all development of recent years, and his country would have to rebuild everything. Aid has begun arriving in the storm-hit nation, one of the world's poorest, but contact has still not been made with some of its more remote islands. The BBC's John Donaldson reports from Vanuatu.
3 days after Cyclone Pam, tens of thousands of people across Vanuatu are doing what they can, rebuilding their lives, young and old, homeless, all that they own laid out in front of them. In the hills around Port Vila, barely a building is untouched. And imagine the force needed to uproot a tree like this. This green tarpaulin marks where the village well used to be in the tiny community of Tanono. Now the water's only good to wash in. People can't live like this for long. And help is arriving. but the aid operation is not yet in full swing.
And that's our Barbados Today morning news update, but you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 online TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.